So I want to talk about why I think Scar at his peak and when he's really interested in a set and invested, why he's one of the best commentators. And I think this set really highlights some of Scar's strengths that even today I don't really see as that I don't really see that many commentators do. So we're gonna like skip through some things and hopefully I can get an editor to magically cut this up a bit. There's a few things and that I want you guys to look out for is that I think Scar plays the hype wrestling match announcer really well in that he hypes the match. He, as an audience member, you get really excited at how Scar sets the stage in the tone of the set, why it matters, what do the players have against each other. I think that's one of Scar's best strengths is that he truly gets you excited in a way that most other commentators really don't. He brings the energy. And I think the other part is when he does his play-by-play, in this particular set, he does this back and forth banter, right? It's like when people trash talk each other and you have this guy like just like over your shoulder, he's like, well, what are you going to do about it? Like, Hax, are you just going to let him do that to you, right? Like, it kind of brings that energy of this like person who's talking trash in the background, or he's like, you're in this like small room where you're watching two players play, and you have this audience member saying what everyone else is thinking but can't, but he says it out loud, and I think that is what really draws people in. So I want to go through the set and just really point it out and kind of give my kind of narrative to Scar's narrative and just show you how awesome it is. So we're gonna start.
You, I think. No, you and Germ in teams. I was so mad. Yeah. Anyway, here we go. We've got Mango
what?
playing Pink
what?
Falcon.
Aziz?
No. Mango playing Pink Falcon.
To spite him.
Hax playing Blue Fox. Yeah, this is definitely the hate.
I thought this was Hax.
Wait.
So
we gotta set this up. So there's been a conversation between these two players for a long time.
Okay.
Where Mango was even making fun of him on the mic yesterday, saying every conversation I ever have with Hax, he complains about Falcon.
So I'm going to stop it right there. And right then and there, I think the magic, and this is something that most people don't have, is just access to the behind-the-scenes conversations. But right then and there, Scar gives this piece of information, right? Mango despises the way that Hax thinks about Fox and Falcon. And Mango is playing Falcon to prove a point to Hax, right? Normally Mango plays Falco or Fox, Spacey, and Hax was expecting like a Spacey battle, but instead sees this. Now, normally, if you don't set this up correctly, you can, a commentator may be like, oh, like Mango's sandbagging, he's not trying, oh, what a joke of a set, right? Like, you can easily tee this off the wrong way, right? But right then and here, like, Scar is showing the personal level of beef and hyping this match up by saying, like, these people, they don't hate each other, but Mango hates the way that that Hax describes, Falcon as a character. So really compelling right from the get-go in the first 3 seconds.
And I tell him all the time that I can beat him with my Falcon, and now it's finally happening.
Yeah.
I witnessed the money match at EVO 2014, and Mango bodied my dude Hax.
Really?
But
with
we'll
Falcon?
see if With Falcon versus Fox, in the hotel room, no recording set up.
Ooh. Oh, it's
Nobody
gritty.
to watch but me.
No, that's the best ones when it's just...
It was
just
all pride.
Yeah.
It was all.
So you see in the first 50 seconds, he sets also the background information that Mango beat Hax at the last tournament, not tournament, but in the hotel room the last time they played this set. So now you are in the energy of this question will form in your head naturally. Can Hax, Hax wants revenge. Hax wants to prove that he can beat this, in his mind, a trash secondary. So it already puts in your mind this sort of investment where you're asking yourself questions based on like how Scar is describing all this.
Some things don't need to be recorded.
Now we have it in tournament.
Yeah.
And we'll see who's gonna pull. Oh, the read.
Okay, this is kind of hype, man. I would never expect Mango to pick his own color against him.
Picking the color is almost like you rock bottom the rock. You know what I mean? You use his special move against him.
You just use it.
Mango, you suck!
Yeah.
So here, I really like it, and maybe I shouldn't interrupt it too much, but, little details. Mango is using Hax's color, right? And he's rock bottoming the rock. The way he's describing things is like how a wrestling announcer just describes a wrestling match. And some people may say, well, it's too fabricated. But I think in this particular case, it is perfect.
This is not all-star mode.
Okay, that was a Scar. And what happened basically was he did the weak knee, which is the right thing.
Yeah.
But he mistimed the jump. He wanted to get a really tight jump afterwards, but he was still in knee like animation.
Mm-hmm.
And some people might, make fun of Scar for not being, really technical, but I really like this segment here where Scar is like, oh, like, Mango, you suck. But then he elaborates and says, hey, this is actually what happened. He missed his jump because he was locked out of an input. I think that, most people will be like, oh, that makes sense, or like, why is he doing that? But I think that, like, was so concise and well done in explaining, like, why Mango missed the input there.
Speaking of this is a best of 5. We're in quarters.
Oh, we're in best of 5?
Yes.
Winners quarters?
Best of 5.
This is so
hype. I feel like best of 5s are like the truest sets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that MLG got right, the best of 5s. It was so amazing to watch all these top players going at it with 5 games.
Oh, that was the Jeff.
Yeah.
So that part was a little weak, but I think Scar was just caught in the moment of saying, oh, this is a best of 5, but like he shows the excitement of like what best of 5s mean, like, and how much he liked it, right? And I think, sometimes you may not always be talking about the match, but I think the energy that he brings and his excitement naturally gets you excited about it.
Just a full jump, double
jump around. Yeah, full jump, double jump.
All right, but it's looking like Hax is going to pull away with this one. The reason I say it is at 100% for Falcon, it's going to be real hard. Yeah, and that's it, dude. Hax takes that game clean.
Yeah.
Will he get Mango to switch? Or will this be a prideful set to the bloody finish?
I think Mango will stay in this game.
Yeah, and then these little tidbits are just so nice, right? Like, he's bringing up the question, and a lot of commentators do this. Like, I think it's not unique that Scar is presenting this question that Mango has in his mind. Like, is he going to be prideful, losing game 1 and play out the set as Falcon, or is he going to play it? But the way that he sets up the language, right? Like, it brings up the energy, right? It's posing this like question with this tone of, is he going to do it, right? Oh, like, there's a way of doing that and being or being boring about it and being like, oh, Mango lost game 1, maybe he should switch, right? There are so many little things that you can just, like, the idea is the same, but the phrasing and the tone and the energy that you put into it and the volume you put into it make a world of difference. And I'm trying to present these other side examples because you can take that idea, right? Like, Mango Hack should be an exciting set, and you can say the same thing, but tone and the way you articulate it make a world of difference.
If he loses the next one, then we'll see.
Yeah. And we're at Mango Land 64.
Yep.
Dreamland, supposedly a very good stage for this matchup. I think it's pretty even. Falcon has slightly more room to run around, but I don't know. I think the real difference maker on this stage is Falcon's. Whoa!
Wow.
Yo, amazing. That was picture perfect edge guard.
You're good when you don't get hit by the fire.
Yeah. No, that's a fact.
Yeah.
The other part that I say here, right, is picture perfect edge guard. Yo, right? And there are a lot of instances where I fall into this trap where I'm over explaining what happened, right? Like, he read the angle, right? And sometimes when you just look at something visually, you can just be like, wow, that's amazing, right? And that highlights the difficulty of it. It's more of those, like, it's kind of a show not tell thing, right? You can talk piece by piece and say, yo, he went high, he read it, right? And that's a lot of words, but to the same effect of getting that edge guard that precisely, you can say, wow, yo, picture perfect. And I think that's that in many cases that's even better than using too many words to explain the thought process. I think sometimes the excitement and the 1 to 2 adjectives convey the same thing much more powerfully. So really
crazy.
The one thing that I wanted to say about this stage is Falcon's recovery gets a little bit better because you can DI up and away so much, and like you live forever. Okay. That's the biggest difference, I think. But if Fox is able to get you with those early % KOs and the gimps, then that doesn't really matter as much. So I think it's definitely Hax's punishes and how well he knocks Falcon like off the stage where it's hard for him to recover. That's going to make a big difference in this game.
So I think the big part here, right, and action didn't go super fast here, so it was a little fortunate. But right here, very clearly, just as the Falcon main expert, he's played Falcon Fox, numerous times as a Falcon main. I think it's really cool that he's explaining why Dreamland is a good stage, the wind conditions, why the recoveries are different in the good 15 to 20 seconds, and it sets the tone for the audience to go like, okay, like that. Now I see why Dreamland's a good stage.
Yeah, I think so too.
Oh,
do you ever feel like there's a stage that's good for Falcon?
I think Battlefield's the best stage in this matchup.
Really?
Because Fox's recovery is a little bit worse. Oh, yeah. Good back air. Gonna go for the stomp. Great tech.
Oh,
he went for the knee.
My son went for gold.
Yo, if he went for a back air, that was a clean edge.
Oh yeah. I think he had to flex.
I think that was definitely flexing.
Yeah. I really love this, right? He went for the knee, right? Scar being also a Falcon main and still being relatively good, right? He's seeing that Mango is going for something unnecessary, right? And again, phrasing is so on point here, where he's going, he went for the knee, and then he elaborates on it, and it's like, the way that you can make this boring is being like, oh, back air would have been a hitbox here, that would have gone the edge guard, and then he could just there, just the inflection of he went for that knee is just so awesome. And then he explains and says he could have gone for back air, and then he goes into this part.
Yeah.
That was a little bit of disrespect, a little bit of him saying I'm that much better, and I don't need this stock.
I'm gonna beat you with your own character.
But you know what? Hax is saying, no, I think you do need that. Yeah. I think you do need that edge guard, and I think you should take me seriously. Because look.
And right before we get to this iconic moment, he's putting this banter, right, where he's presenting to the audience this question, right? He's saying, yo, he's presenting to you this idea that Mango is disrespecting him, that he's doing all this unnecessary stuff. He could have gone for a complete thing, and he's doing the way he's projecting. And sometimes you don't always get this right. There's a risk to making these kind of call outs, but Mango going, he's playing disrespectfully, and then he poses the questions like, Hax, are you gonna let him do that to you, right? And then I think as an audience member, as you're watching that, you're kind of going Hax, are you gonna let him do that to you? And then we get to this point, and I want to highlight something really, really important with this, or a kind of a cool point about this.
Look at the scoreboard right now.
Yeah, I got numbers on the.
Yo, did he just walk up slowly and down smash?
He did. He really did, though.
Oh, Hax, are you gonna let him?
So, play-by-play commentary. This was play-by-play commentary. Whether it's a pretty non-traditional way of looking at it, right? Where it's did he just walk up slowly and down smash? Even though it's phrased as a question, it is literally commenting what has happened on the screen. That Mango just, as Falcon, literally just walked up, read a spot dodge, and just down smash, right? And there are really creative ways, rather than just kind of reading on the screen, where it brings out and fleshes out this thing. We talk about disrespect. Scar is writing this theme of disrespect, right from the get-go. He's saying Mango is disrespecting Hax by playing Falcon. Mango is disrespecting Hax by going for unnecessary moves rather than guarantee. And then Mango disrespects Hax even more by going for this super mega call out on the down smash. Who does that, right? And to me, I'm just wow, he's really getting me into this Hax versus Mango dialogue that's going on. And you can see it here.
Good crouch cancel there.
Melee, man.
Yeah, they're mixing it up right. This is a slobber knocker.
Yeah.
They're just hitting each other. Good read. Oh. I thought he was gonna go for forward B.
Oh my.
This is 6 spacing right now for Mango.
Kind of in his head.
Yeah.
Get out of my head, Charles.
In his head, but also in his space, right? He's got Hax with the shield up, and he's just pressuring him.
Yeah.
The Falcon pressure is actually real good if you can set it up, but it's hard to set up.
Oh,
he goes for the up B.
Genius.
It's so cheesy. That's one of the one gimmick that Mango does with Falcon. Somehow Hax goes for a forward B that just
wow.
Looked like he went for the jab reset. Oh,
okay.
What a read.
Dude, Mango's just.
And I have to point out here, I wanted this section just to breathe out, just to highlight a few things, right? Scar is commenting on his spacing and how he's just obliterating his space. You're seeing aerial after aerial. I think this part's probably a little bit more tough to appreciate if you don't understand aerial drift and the type of spacing. If you're not really a hardcore Melee player, it's probably hard to catch. What I really like in this section is how, I have to give shouts to Brandon Homemade Waffles here. How he's complimenting. He makes the comment of saying like, "Get out of my head," and commenting that like Mango is just running over hacks and just reading everything.
Read into the next world. He's like 50% on tech roll reads.
Yeah, he is, dude.
That's insane.
Do you know why I think Mango is like good with Falcon? Because Mango style, like, it's not really combo influence. It's not combo based.
No.
It's all really hard read based.
Yeah.
And to be good with Falcon, you gotta have hard reads.
Yeah. But usually you mix
hacks though.
Yeah. Usually what Falcons do is they mix up the reaction tech chases to force you to do a bad option, right? To force you to tech in place because that's harder to react to, etc.
Right.
But Mango never goes for the regrabs like that.
Yeah, he does.
So it's weird. He's just only going hard reads, and it's working.
Yeah, and his Falcon's like...
I think 2014 Scar, like, again, top-notch analysis there, right? He's talking about how his philosophy on tech chasing, and granted, it's a little bit different today with how Wizzy and a few people do it, right? But the philosophy of explaining what goes in the mindset of what a normal Falcon does, right? You tech chase a few times, and then you force them into a bad option, and you get the payoff with Stomp Knee. Really good there. But then he pivots this, right? He's telling us, he's adding this wrench into it, right? Or this unexpected twist of saying, but Mango is just reading only, right? And this adds on to what Homemade Waffle said of "get out of my head, Charles." Of, wow, like he's in his head, he's disrespecting, he's on another level, right? Like it is just phenomenal how this is building up from enjoying. And like I think you as an audience member, if you first watched this live when it was on Twitch, were like, wow, like you were probably really pumped up watching it. And to this day, I still feel that energy, even though I've watched the set at least 10 times.
Really slow aerial moves, kind of choppy, but he still gets everything off in time.
My boy Hacks in the 20XX world.
Yeah, no.
Saying, yo, can your character do this? I know your character can't do that. Oh. Mango goes for a safe edge guard. He's trying to keep the stock. He's not trying to overcommit too much. Gonna get the back air? No.
Oh.
So that's 2. That was 2 for Hacks.
Blooper.
2, yeah, it goes in the blooper reels. That was a very intense moment, and I'm not sure how that happened. When you think about what controller buttons you have to press for that to happen, that was a clean wave dash back and to kill yourself.
Yeah, I think that was just a mind trick.
He tricked himself.
Yeah, he did.
He tricked himself. It happens.
It's Mango. Who's Mango going? Uh-oh. Marth? Uh-oh.
Wait, who went Marth?
Mango.
Why are we going to on it?
I think it was an accident.
We went to FD. We went to FD. I'm telling you.
I just love his excitement too, right? And this was one of my biggest weaknesses as the commentator was some people say like I would commentate like a golf match, and granted I did fix that towards the end. But what I've realized over time is that and this kind of goes back to the fiction tweet the other day, right? Like, like why don't people just like Melee for its tech ability, right? But I think there is something to be said about the commentator just not pointing out what high level gameplay is or describing the action in a deep sense, but there is something to be said about also having the energy that's contagious, right? Like to me it seems like Scar's just exciting kid, right? Like who is hyping up and going like, I play Falcon, I love Falcon, I love seeing Falcon succeed, I like these two people that are playing, I love Hacks, I love Mango, I love the rivalry that's there, right? Like when you have that conversation with people, right? Like when you have, and sometimes the energy level gets a little bit much, but right, like I draw energy from people who are passionate about what they do, right? Like when I am going out with somebody, I'm like, hey, like what do you do? Like, and like there's a real difference between like, oh yeah, I just like work, and that's fine, I'm not judging a person, but like there's something to be said of like, yeah, I'm like doing this thing, like I love it, right? And it goes like, oh, like really, like tell me more about it. And granted that conversation doesn't happen every time, but like with Scar there's just such a contagious energy that I'm just like, yeah, like let me be a part of this.
You exactly what just happened. What happened is Hack said, I'm taking you to FD. Mango knows that FD is actually the worst stage for that matchup. That is the truth.
The funny enough thing is that Scar, they end up going to Fountain of Dreams.
That is a fact. Fox's punish off of FD is so good. I told Dark Rain, you can't take Fox's FD anymore. I'm sorry, it is not 2011. And he said, no, I think I'll do it anyway. I don't know if he's done it. So anyway, point being, that's what happened. Oh, yeah. Never mind. RIP.
RIP.
RIP Scar. I was so confident. Yeah.
So I think it's more or less going to be thematically the same. I don't want to repeat myself the whole part, but all in all, like my short summary here is I really love the energy that Scar brings, and I think the angle he goes for is like a wrestler commentator, um, who's calling a ring match to the person that's just chilling in a hotel room, just watching Melee, right? And he's making his comments, but he's inviting you into what's going on, to a world of thought. The analytical side of his commentary is actually really good for its time, and also the story that a lot of people probably didn't know. People didn't know that Hax and Mango had this beef, right? And again, like you can, I view the quality of the match itself, like ordering meat. Like there are some sets that are just gonna be really hard to commentate, like and make exciting, right? You can make it all right, right? You can do stuff to spice things up, but there's a lot of sets that you can kind of just butcher, right? Like there are so many ways that people could have taken this set where it's like, oh, like Mango's fooling around, like Mango, like yeah, like he's just saying, like there's so many ways that you can turn something like this into something like a terrible set, right? Like there have been many sets that you guys could probably point to where the gameplay was phenomenal, but the commentary ruins it. And here, I think the commentary was, the gameplay itself was really cool to watch, right? Like I like watching Mango's Falcon. I like watching Mango's, Marth. I think they're really good. I played these in friendlies in the 2014 era. I was just like, wow, like these are just, hidden things that nobody really knows about. But the commentary is what, in my opinion, what makes this set go from a B plus, an A set to an S tier set, right? This is just because of Scar. And also Brandon, also complementing the energy, right? Brandon takes the energy, right, and Brandon understanding that Scar's gonna be really excited because it's Mango and it's Falcon, his reign of expertise. Brandon plays the complementary role, and he mainly adds to support Scar, or he will pose a question to Scar for Scar to answer, right? Like, why is this stage good? And I think that the complementary, assets that they brought to each other was really good. I think Brandon's recognition was really good, but most of off, like, I can't think of another commentator within Melee that can match this, and this is why I think Scar is one of the greatest commentators of all time.